G'day there guys, Connie here again from Marquee Industries. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Anyway, we're reading some more stories from Reddit, so sit back, relax and enjoy. Okie dokie, this one was posted on Relationship Advice and Off My Chest. It was written by a throwaway account, and it's titled, I left my wife after she kept making comments about me not being manly enough and not sure I did the right thing. We'd been together since we were 18. She was my first everything, whereas she'd been with a few people before me. We have an 18-year-old daughter together who is an amazing, brilliant and kind person. I couldn't have asked for a better kid. The last few years, my wife has been making the odd comment about my manliness, etc., and I've just brushed it off, but she's really stepped it up the last year, and I ended up leaving her about 3 months ago over it. I don't want this to sound like a humble brag, but I do think I'm quite manly while also just being a normal person. I'm tall, work out a few times a week, I can do any DIY around the house, I can fix cars, I used to be an amateur boxer and cage fighter, and still do it as a hobby to keep fit. The things she said that aren't manly about me are, I like to bake, I like to cook, I don't drink, I don't care if other people do, it's just not for me. I like Taylor Swift, Charlie XCX, Ariana Grande, Sabrina Carpenter, etc. My main choice in music will always be rap, but having a teenage daughter, these sorts of artists get played and I like some of their songs, so I listen to them. I don't see that as a bad thing. I have a powerful car and a motorbike, but my preferred method of transport is a VW Up. It's a small car with a little engine, but if it's just me and my gym bag or work bag, I don't see the problem. Plus, I'm not one of them who feels like a car someone drives means anything. My ex-wife disagreed and said I give off a certain vibe in it. I tend to walk away from arguments with strangers. She perceives any slight as personal insult. If you cut in front of her in traffic, she's leaning on the horn. Don't say thank you if you hold open a door. She's screaming and shouting at you. I just prefer to let things slide. An example is someone was being obnoxious to me on a night out for no reason. He was in my face, calling me all sorts of names, and even pushed me a couple of times. I just smiled at him and walked away, saying I hope he gets home safely. When we got home, she said I embarrassed her in front of her friends by letting him talk to me like that. I said, what's the point of me knocking out a drunk kid who's half my size? She said I'm a doormat for the world. There's a few other things mainly connected to stuff me and my daughter have in common around stupid social media videos. She said it's like living with 2 teenage girls. In September, I left her. I said I can't be spoken to like this anymore and be belittled. It's not fair. Even then she had a dig and said a real man would change. She's changed her tune since and says she's willing to go to therapy, both individual and couples, and try and sort out her issues. I don't know if the cuts from things she said are too deep though. Since I've left, I've felt more relaxed and happier. I don't have to worry when I put a song on or want to bake a cake or cook something a bit different, what would be said, etc. At the same time though, it's scary as she's all I've known, and being alone and meeting new people scare the life out of me as I've never done that before. Everything is telling me I'm on the right path, but I have a niggling doubt in my head that all those words she spoke about me are true, and I'm an annoying person that will be alone forever. Honestly, it sounds like Opie is comfortable in his masculinity, and that's great. The wife has clearly got some underlying insecurities or other issues she needs to work out. None of this is Opie's fault. Let's go to the comments. When asked what started this, Opie said, I have no idea what triggered it. A few years ago the comments started, but they've really ramped up the last year to 18 months. I did suspect an affair, but I'm not sure. There's probably some underlying insecurity within herself that's making her project this onto you. Manliness doesn't really mean anything. She's holding you to an arbitrary definition of what she thinks a man should be, but there's really no answer to that. You don't have to prove yourself. This is her issue, not yours. I think it's pretty manly to bond with your daughter, pursue hobbies that make you happy, and listen to your needs. She needs to know that you felt a weight off your shoulders without her frequent judgments if you're going to try and make it work. Opie replies, I don't know whether it's some social media she's consumed or what, but seems to think all men should be beer-swilling hotheads all the time. Opie, what she doesn't understand is it takes a man to be able to walk away and laugh off insults. It's pretty easy to fight. Don't take her back. I feel bad for your daughter, her lack of being raised by a good woman. I guess she was good at some point and just rotted away. Did she get any new friends that might have been whispering in her ear? Maybe seeing some dude whispering in her ear. Opie said, "That's exactly what I said. Without bigging myself up, that guy who was causing me trouble would have been little effort for me to hurt, but what's the point? My ego and pride aren't that shallow that I feel the need to prove myself against someone who poses no danger to me. It's been the last 5 to 10 years, and I don't want to blame social media, but it's definitely been since she started consuming more Instagram and TikTok." You literally said you are happier and more relaxed alone than when you were with her. Okay, so say you end up alone. Still an improvement over what you had. Don't stay with her for your kid or because it's what's familiar. Only do it if you truly want to be there. And if you do that, then set hard boundaries that aren't negotiable and broadcast that prior to even trying cancelling with her, because she was belittling you and you deserve better than that. Maybe she can get there, but you and only you can decide if she's worth that effort and risk to you. He replies, "You're right. I know I'm on the right path and it feels better knowing others agree." And when asked about marriage cancelling, OP says, "When she mentioned couples cancelling the first time, she said, 'So someone else can help me make you the man I need,' which I immediately called out. She's now said it's so she can work on her own problems with how she thinks men should be." Yeah, alarm bells saying that, that's for sure. You gotta have the right intentions to go into therapy. Let's go to an update. Hi all, I received a lot of love on my first post and had a few people ask for an update, so here we are, over 3 months later. First and foremost, I didn't get back with her, and the divorce is now in motion. Our daughter is very understanding, and says I seem a lot happier and more relaxed. My ex-wife kept asking me back until about a month ago, she announced she's seeing a 23-year-old, and when I felt relief rather than hurt or jealousy, I fully realized I'm over her. Not really much else to report. I'm still baking and cooking and boxing and cage fighting. Well, I've got tickets to go to see Sabrina Carpenter with my daughter, and we also got tickets to go see Kendrick Lamar, so I still like my rap and my teen girl pop, lol. I also want to say a big thank you to everyone who commented and messaged me after my last post. You were all so sweet, and it was both humbling and gave me a massive big head, lol. Thank you all. Oh, great update. And some final comments. Quote, "My husband isn't manly enough because he drives a little car to his cage fighting matches and listens to hyperpop while he fixes that little car with his bare hands, bloodied from the aforementioned cage fighting. Also, I hate it when he makes me cakes. Brother, I think your ex-wife might be insane." Opie says, "Ha, that's quite a good way of summing it up, I guess. It is nice to drive my little car and listen to espresso without being called gay as hell. Although I might get a window sticker that says that, lol." She's dating someone so young to try and make you jealous. That's pathetic. Enjoy the baking and cage fighting. It's also so gross. The guy she is dating is 5 years older than her daughter. Opie says they also went to the same secondary school and he was in his last year there while she was in her first year. In the school photo where all 1,000 kids are together, she showed me both of them stood near each other. Oh, that adds another level of creepiness. Jeez. Safe to say the ex-wife's got a few rocks loose in her head, that's for sure. Anyway guys, that's the end of that story. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Let me know, and we'll move on to another story. Alrighty, this next one was written on advice. It was written by user AwkwardSweetTA, and it's titled, "My family loves my ex and keeps inviting her to family get-togethers. My ex and I dated for 5 years. My family adored her, and it was assumed that we would be getting married soon. About a year ago, she broke up with me out of nowhere, saying that I was not enough of a man for her. Brutal, I know. After months of therapy, I started dating somebody new. Now, during my therapy months, my family had already invited her to certain events. My family asked me if she could still come, and because I still wanted her back, I said yes. As soon as I started to date someone new and my ex had attended her last invited event, I thought that was the end of it. Today, I found out my family invited my ex to Thanksgiving and Christmas. I thought it was a joke, but no, they love having her around. I put a stern warning that if she was invited, I would not be attending. I restated what my therapist told me, saying this was unhealthy for me and was violating my boundaries. My family does not care. They love her. She doesn't have much family and they want her included. My current girlfriend is obviously furious, too. Every family member, including my mum and grandmother, are saying I need to treat it as if she were a friend and grow up. I don't know what to do. Any advice? Edit, thanks to you all for the advice. I'm going to man up and tell them me and my girlfriend won't be attending. My family and her have already said it would be a cowardly thing to do to hide from my ex, but I don't give an F. These comments reassured me this is not okay. I'm going to take my girlfriend somewhere nice and spend Thanksgiving with her. I might even try to organise buying plane tickets and see her family for Christmas. I'll keep you guys updated if anything else comes of this. Yeah, what on earth? His family is choosing the ex over him, literal family. This is absolutely absurd. Let's go to the comments. Opie comments on if his family knew their ex was the one who ended the relationship. They are very aware. They still think it's my fault. She'd been going through a hard time and I didn't take initiative in helping her with certain things. She needed help with some stuff around her apartment. I'm not really a handyman, so I didn't offer. She never asked and she built up resentment towards me for months. That, among other things like gifts not being thoughtful enough and feeling like I didn't prioritise her enough, led to the breakup. My family supports her and felt I needed to step up as a man. I've already asked her to stop and she doesn't seem interested in turning down the invitations. She doesn't have a good relationship with her family, so it's nice for her to be included. She thinks I'm being selfish. Don't go. Have a Thanksgiving and Christmas with only your current GF. If they can't respect your boundaries, then you have to enforce them. Opie says this seems to be the sentiment. It just sucks being alone for Thanksgiving. It'll just be me and my girlfriend since her family is long distance. Opie gives examples on why his family thinks he needs to step up and be a man. Her and my family feel I'm not enough of a handyman. My family is mostly union and construction. I work in tech. My ex expected me to take initiative on her apartment issues, and I'm just not that guy. I'm also not very confrontational, so she felt I couldn't keep her safe. Those are just two examples. I'll give you a specific example that she stated during the breakup. Her sink had broken and was leaking pretty badly, like enough to fill up a bucket every 10 minutes. Her landlord wasn't going to be available for a few days, so she called me and asked to come fix it. I'm very bad at handyman stuff. My first instinct was to offer to pay someone to look at it. She said a real man would have at least tried instead of paying someone. It wasn't just handyman stuff though. We had an incident at a bar where an old drunk guy was flirting with her. I'm very non-confrontational, so I offered to go to a different bar or to tell the bouncers. She wanted me to confront him and felt I couldn't protect her. Little things like this added up in her head. Does OP still have feelings for his ex? I no longer have feelings for her. Through my therapy sessions, I learned we are just not compatible. She wanted me to be someone that I am not. She gaslit me into thinking how I am as a person was wrong, and I needed to fit her ideal version of a man. It just wasn't a healthy relationship, and I should have ended it earlier. The reason I don't want her there is because it's disrespectful to my new girlfriend. I know my family would prefer me to get back with my ex, but that's not what I want. They should respect that we are no longer together and stop inviting her. Okay, now for an update, 1 week later. Hey everyone, I appreciate all the advice and kind words I got in my last post. However, I don't have a good update, to be honest. Basically, I sent a mass text message to all of my family exactly how I felt. That my ex should not be at Thanksgiving or Christmas, and it was incredibly disrespectful. I told them they needed to choose between me and her, how under no circumstances would I compromise this simple request, that they were choosing my ex-girlfriend over their own son, and it was not okay. I also told my ex in a separate text that she was not welcome, and I did not care if my family invited her. My cousin messaged me on the side agreeing with me, which was nice. However, the rest of the family did not see it that way. Family members responded to how selfish I was, how I knew she had nowhere to go for Thanksgiving, and that she has become part of the family. I tried to hold my ground by stating how not normal this was to invite someone's ex to Thanksgiving, but they just doubled down that she had become too close to exclude her. My dad specifically said I needed to stop being so immature, making ultimatums like a child. That message got a lot of iMessage likes in the group chat. My ex told me I was being a frickin' baby about the whole thing, that this was exactly the reason she broke up with me. that I could not handle even the possibility of confrontation, and I was going to run away with my new girlfriend. I explained how not normal this dynamic was, and I told her to go back to her family and stop trying to steal mine. She just sent back it's not her fault my family loves her and stopped answering. I kept battling with my family over the weekend, but no one was budging. My mum had called me explaining how my ex was like a daughter to her and my actions were breaking her heart. I asked her if she had any sympathy for me considering my ex broke up with me, saying I wasn't man enough for her. My mum just said how my actions were proving her right, and that kinda broke me. These fights were clearly going nowhere, so I put my money where my mouth is. I decided to book a short trip with my girlfriend and take her to a really nice restaurant. I let her know, and initially she said she would like a nice getaway. However, yesterday, she asked me to come over and talk. She said that this whole situation with my family was making her extremely uncomfortable, that she felt like she was in the middle of this battle between me, my family, and my ex. She said I was really sweet, but she couldn't be in a relationship with someone with this much family drama. I begged and pleaded with her, but she said she put a lot of thought into this and asked me to respect her decision. I'm freaking pathetic. I can't even set boundaries with my own family. I'm going to take the trip by myself and think some things over. I'm not looking for additional advice, somewhere to spend Thanksgiving, or even words of encouragement. I just want to be left alone. Thanks for all the advice, but clearly I need to work on myself. I think 2 things are clear. 1, my family doesn't like me very much, and 2, I can be easily pushed around by people. And some final comments. Don't be so hard on yourself. It sounds like you did set boundaries and you're sticking to it. Maybe take some time and find yourself. Do you think your family is trying to force you to change and get back together with her? It sounds like they're going to lampoon any future relationship you have. He replies, I thought about this a lot since my last post. Some people commented on my last post saying that my family and my ex may be conspiring to get me to toughen up. Once I've grown a pair, we would get back together. I personally think it's far-fetched, but considering my ex is still around, who knows? And on getting more therapy because things are getting too much for him, he says, I've doubled up on my therapy appointments, so I'll be okay. It seems like I'll be saving money on Christmas gifts so I can afford the extra therapy. Wow, there you go. That dude grew up within a family of bullies. I really hope he gets out there and finds a circle of people that respect him and appreciate him. It seemed like this entire story, Opie could just never win. Anyway guys, that's the end of that one. As always, let me know your thoughts down below and we'll move on to the next story. Alrighty, jumping over to Petty Revenge for a quick one. This one was written by user OllieLift13 and it's titled, You're Too Old for the Children's Section. Many years ago when I was 19 years old, male, I was at my local Borders bookstore searching for a children's book or two for my little cousin's birthday. He was turning 5 and really enjoyed reading whatever kids' books he could at his young age, so I thought I would support the habit. I entered Borders and headed straight to the kids section and looked around, picking up some books that looked like they would interest my little cousin, and even laughing at some of the funny things I saw on the covers and first couple of pages I flipped through. Kids' books are hilarious, okay? As I'm minding my own business, I get a very firm poke on the back of my shoulder from a very disgruntled employee. The employee starts to tell me I must leave the kids section immediately because it's only for kids 12 and under, and how inappropriate I was being, and also how creepy I was being for looking at children's books. I let her go on until I'd had enough and decided it was time for some very petty revenge. I let her finish one last sentence and said, I totally understand. I'll make sure to leave the kids section as no adults are allowed to be here. I literally took about 10 steps to my left, which put me outside of the clearly carpeted boundaries of the kids section. I stood there as the employee kept looking at me. As soon as I saw a mum and dad walk into the kids section with their 2 kids, I regretfully informed them that their kids could stay and look around the section, but the parents would have to leave as they were over the age of 12. They, of course, were questioning my authority to tell them to leave the kids section, rightfully so, and as luck would have it, the employee from before came charging over, apologizing to them for my remarks, and explained that the kids section is not only for individuals under the age of 12. As soon as I heard those words leave her mouth, I of course questioned her and asked why she would have told me the opposite just a few minutes ago and had me leave the kids section. At this point, the couple just demanded a manager, again rightfully so. The manager came over and asked for everyone's side of things. When I told him I was there to buy children's books for my cousin, he asked why there was a problem in the first place. I replied, "I'm not sure. Ask your employee. She's the one who approached me for looking at books. I was just informing other customers of store policy so they didn't get reprimanded like me." The manager immediately turned red and walked over to his employee. I couldn't hear everything he said, but I could hear him say, "We'll talk about this later. This is the second time now." So I can only imagine what trouble she got in. After he finished telling his employee that they would speak later, he came back over to me and the couple. I started this part of the conversation off by apologizing to the couple for making them and their kids my case in point, to which they said they understand now that they see what happened. The manager apologized to them as well, and then to me for his employee's behavior, and explained that there is no such rule or policy, and that I was free to go into the kids section, get whatever books I want, and then check out up front. He offered to bring any children's books I knew I would purchase to the front register and hold them for me so that he didn't waste any more of my time, and so that I could do one last quick visual sweep of what kids' books were on the shelves. I thanked him profusely and told him not to worry about my time because I've got plenty. I then sat down on one of the kids' chairs in the kids section, grabbed a book off the shelf behind me, and sat down, staring straight at the employee until they walked away. Anyway, Borders is closed now. Haha, bravo, sir, bravo. I mean, what is going through that employee's head? You see someone who is an adult looking through a kid's section of books and you immediately assume they're a pedo? Like, honestly, get off the internet. Anyway, guys, that's it from me today. Hope you all enjoyed those stories. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day. Cheers.